Hey everyone, Magnus here, and in this video I want to go over 5 different ways on how to check if your mix sounds good. The first thing we do is obviously listen on our studio speakers. I've got 2 different sets of studio speakers if I want to be extra sure. However, I mainly just listen on my main speaker set. Also, and I'm sure most of you know this, but listening on your car speaker system can be very helpful. We listen to so much music in our cars, sometimes hours a day, others maybe a few hours a month, and sometimes over a period of years in the same car, that you know the sound coming from your car speaker system, and it's nice to reference your mix to some of the music that you listen to in the car. Also, having studio headphones is obviously so important, and having headphones that you really recognize so that you can trust your mix 100% on your headphones as well. I finished most of my mixes, like the last 5%, let's say, or even less, on the headphones, because that's where I really trust my final stages of the mixing process. I started doing it late in my mixing, let's say, career, because I trust my speaker system like 95%, but I want the last few steps of the mix to be done in the studio headphones. That might sound weird to some people. I think most people just finish their mixes on the speakers, but I do it this way, and I really trust these headphones because I've been using them for so long. These are Shure, highly recommended. These are around maybe $600. I think I got them on sale for like $400. But before I got these, and the reason why I use this brand is I started out with like $90 headphones, and honestly they are almost as good. I trusted those headphones so much that I used them until they broke, literally. This part broke and I couldn't use them anymore. So it's like, okay, I might upgrade a little bit, and I got these. However, the other ones are just as good. I can't remember exactly the name of them, but they were around like $100. Then once I'm done with the studio headphones, I'm done with the mixing headphones that are really flat, meaning that the bass and the treble hasn't been pushed like commercial headphones. So like if you listen to Beats headphones, Beats by Dre, the bass is kind of heavy. So, and like if you listen on some other headphones, like the treble might be too heavy. On the studio headphones, it's just really flat, so you'll hear exactly what's going on. So very crucial to have studio headphones and not commercial headphones while mixing, in my opinion. However, after I'm done mixing the track, I listen on commercial headphones as well to check it out. And that's where these Sony ones come into play. I think I got these for like $50 on sale, something like that. Dynamic stereo headphones, professional, it says. I see this in music studios all the time, because the first thing to break in music studios are usually the headphones. So they tend to have cheap ones for the vocalists, and when they are recording, I got these, and they are really good to listen as a commercial listener. They have huge treble, so like everything that's high, all the high frequencies, they really come out of the headphones. Meanwhile, the bass is kind of low, in my opinion, on these ones. So as a commercial listener, it's really good to check these out, to listen to the mix in the commercial headphones. So whatever you have, listen to your mix in the commercial headphones as well. Which brings me next to the Apple iPhone headphones. After I've checked in the studio headphones and the other commercial headphones, I'll check on the iPhone ones. Just to make sure it sounds good there as well. So the next thing to check is the Bluetooth speakers. In my opinion, very crucial to listen to your mix on Bluetooth speakers. What you can do is you listen to a commercial track that's been successful, and then listen to your track. If it sounds bad on the Bluetooth speaker, I know my mix really sucks, but definitely recommend checking it out on your Bluetooth speaker. So the last place I might check my mixes is on a laptop. The laptop speakers, obviously, they really suck on these computers, and it's no way to listen to music on those laptop speakers. If my mix is bad and I hear it on a laptop speaker, that's even worse. So that's the last place I might check on a laptop speaker. Step number 2 is referencing your track to another track. Referencing your mix to a popular song that's done well. So you might throw your mix into your computer. You can use a plugin for this, and you can compare the low end, the high end, the mid range, and all sorts of stuff. There are other ways that you can do this as well, where you just put EQ on the mastering track, you put EQ on your track, and you match the bass, you match the guitar, the mid range, or whatever you're trying to match. So if you're trying to match someone else's mix, let's say a popular track that we mentioned earlier, then using reference is crucial. Moving on to step number 3, which in my opinion is equally as crucial as the first 2 steps. That's having someone you know that's not into music production or mixing music listen to your song. That could be your mom, your dad, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your uncle, your cousin, whoever. Anyone you know that's not, let's say, into music production or mixing, have them listen to your song, and you'll be surprised how many times they'll find something that you didn't notice. So for example, I released a song the other day with a record label. I was really happy with the mix, and then I had a friend of mine listen to the song once it was out, and a friend of mine goes, you know, there's a sound in your song that's really ruining the listening experience for me. And he said, there's this tick, 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 tick sound, and I'm like, oh, you mean the hi-hat? Yeah, it's like a bright sound. It goes in my ears, and I have a hard time listening to the song. It still sounds good in the song, in my opinion, but however, for the regular listener, I probably made a mistake. I should have lowered the hi-hat a little bit in volume, because in those headphones that he was listening in, it was really present, and the treble was really high, so it kind of ruined the listening experience in those headphones. When I got back home and I listened to the mix again in my speakers, in my headphones, I didn't hear it as much. It wasn't as present. So maybe I should have checked it in more headphones, but I've already checked in bunch. But then again, having someone who is an average listener, listens to commercial music, is not into music production and stuff like that, listen to your song, can be so crucial. So highly suggest that. So tip number 4 is similar to the previous one. However, in this scenario, we are looking for someone who's into music production, mixing, or has a good ear. I have a friend of mine that I send most of my mixes to. He has a really good ear, and he can give me feedback that I 100% trust. It's very important that you trust the person that's checking your mix 100%. So don't go to like music production groups or mixing groups on Facebook or Instagram and ask them if they can check your mix and give you feedback, because most of the time a lot of those people think that they know it all and that they're so good at mixing. They might give you the wrong information, and that's the last thing we want. You want to be absolutely 100% that you can trust the person that's giving you the feedback. So pros and cons: if you know someone that you trust 100%, definitely send them your mix and see what they say. It's always good to have more ears on your song and at least get the feedback, and then you can evaluate if you agree with them or not. The cons are a lot of people will give you feedback even though it's the wrong feedback, so it's hard to go by that. But definitely have someone listen to your mix that's in the music industry if you trust them and see what they say. Also wanted to mention that no matter the feedback you're getting, if it's from your musical friends or non-musical friends, you have to go with your instinct. It's great to get feedback, to be able to go in the session, look at some pointers and see what they have to say, but the last call is yours. You have to go with what you feel is right, so not necessarily what someone else has to say. Over the course of mixing a song, you're obviously making hundreds, if not thousands, of small adjustments over the course of the time that you're mixing the song. So you are making all the decisions. However, nice to get feedback, but at the end of the day, you have to trust yourself when it comes to mixing and the overall sound of your song. Moving on to the last part, and a very crucial part in my opinion, is taking a break from your mix. I want to say at least a few days, even better a few weeks. Once you've been producing a track or mixing it for days and hours and hours and hours, you sometimes get caught up in the mix and you stop hearing things. So take a break, come back with clear ears, Even better if you haven't listened to music for a few days and then you get back to the mix. In my opinion, even better if it's 1 or 2 months, something like that. But I know people might be desperate to put out their music. They don't have time to wait. They just want to get it over with. I get that, and that's fine. But the mistake that I did in the beginning was releasing music sometimes too early, and then hearing stuff later on that I should have fixed in the mixing stages. I would hate to have that happen again. I'm sure it happens more often than usual. No mix is perfect, as they say. Nowadays, for example, I have a song that I worked on earlier this year, produced it, and then I've been mixing it over a few months. It's been probably 4 months since I finished the mix, and it's already been mastered. I'm still listening to it every now and then just to get a clearer idea if I'm happy with it. And I realized there's nothing I can do better in the mix. It sounds great, and then I'm ready to release it. So give me yourself some time to listen to the mix again, value it, see if you did some crucial mistakes in it. Is very important, at least in my opinion. At least take a break for a few days or even a week or two. But sometimes you're on a deadline. Let's say if you're getting paid to mix a song and they need it immediately, then obviously you can't do that. You just have to let the song go. But if it's your own song, you have the time, you're not desperate to release it, give it some time. So we've gone through 5 tips to check if your mix sounds good. Some of this might be common sense to some of you. To others, it might be new information, depending on if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced in music production and mixing. Either way, it's nice to refresh your memory on what you can do when you're mixing and checking to see if it sounds good. I hope any of this was helpful. Until next time, peace out.